Y'all, Justin Kirk Frost didn't just win in court. He absolutely demolished Jasmine like she was a non-factor. The internet is in shock, and let's be honest, did anyone see this coming? We all thought Kirk was about to take an L, right? Wrong. Instead, this man pulled off the biggest courtroom comeback since Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. But what does this mean for Jasmine? Oh honey, it's bad. I'm talking life-changing, bank account obliterating, PR nightmare bad. Did Kirk just play chess while Jasmine was out here playing checkers? Was this his long-awaited revenge? And more importantly, what did Jasmine do to deserve this level of karma? Buckle up, because the tea is piping hot, and we're about to spill every last drop. Let's dive right in. Kirk Frost just pulled the ultimate Uno reverse card on Jasmine. And trust me, it's uglier than we ever imagined. This isn't just a legal win. This is a full-blown courtroom massacre. Jasmine's entire world got flipped, twisted, and tossed right into the trash. How did we even get here? How did Kirk, of all people, manage to finesse the system and leave Jasmine in the dust? Let's break it down. If you've been following the drama, you already know that Jasmine and Kirk's history is messier than a reality TV reunion fight. Years ago, Jasmine dropped a bombshell, claiming that Kirk Frost, the so-called devoted husband of Rashida, was out here playing house with her and even fathered a child. The drama exploded. The internet went into a frenzy. Love and hip-hop Atlanta ratings went through the roof, and Kirk's reputation was in the gutter. But Jasmine, she was living it up. Blogs, fans, and the public all rallied behind her. For a minute, it looked like Kirk was done for. But fast forward to now, and boom, a plot twist nobody saw coming. Kirk didn't just escape this mess. He flipped the script so hard that Jasmine's the one gasping for air. So what went down in court? Oh baby, grab your snacks because this is wild. Kirk came in with the legal dream team straight out of a Netflix thriller. We're talking powerhouse attorneys, receipts on receipts, and a strategy so cutthroat that Jasmine never stood a chance. The judge took one look at the evidence and basically said, "Jasmine, pack it up." While Jasmine was busy enjoying the spotlight, Kirk was out here playing 3D chess. He started by tearing apart her credibility, bringing up her past inconsistencies, her alleged history of targeting wealthy men, and some questionable financial moves that made the court raise an eyebrow. Then came the financial receipts. Turns out, Kirk had been paying Jasmine for years, not just child support, but extra expenses that had nothing to do with their son. We're talking luxury apartments, shopping sprees, and wait for it, alleged hush money. That's right, y'all. Kirk made it look like Jasmine was out here cashing in on his name, rather than being a struggling single mom. And when those bank statements hit the courtroom, it was game over. Now, let's talk about Jasmine's reaction. Sis was not ready. You could see the shock and panic all over her face as the realization set in. She walked straight into a trap. And the internet, oh, they were loving it. The same people who once supported Jasmine were now clowning her, dragging her for trying to play Kirk, but ended up getting played herself. Even some of her old supporters started switching sides, talking about, well, maybe Kirk ain't the villain after all. The narrative flipped overnight, and just like that, Jasmine went from the victim to the villain. And let's not forget about Rashida. Everyone was watching her reaction like a hawk. The woman who stood by Kirk through scandal after scandal, the woman who got embarrassed on national TV, what was she thinking? Well, rumor has it, Rashida had the last laugh. Sources say she never doubted Kirk would come out on top. In fact, some are whispering that she might have even helped him behind the scenes. If Rashida was in on this courtroom takedown, then Jasmine never stood a chance. The real kicker, the judge's ruling wasn't just a slap on the wrist. No, this was a full-on financial death sentence. Jasmine walked into that courtroom thinking she was about to get a win, maybe even a payday. But instead, she walked out owing Kirk. That's right. After reviewing all the evidence, the judge ruled that Jasmine had been exploiting Kirk's financial support and ordered her to pay back a significant amount. Let that sink in. She went from calling the shots to having to cough up money to the very man she was trying to expose. Hold up though, because we need to talk about what this means for Jasmine's future. See, Jasmine was banking on this drama to keep her relevant. She had TV, deals, social media endorsements, and a career based on her narrative as the wrong woman. But now, that story's dead. Brands are pulling out, opportunities are vanishing, and her reputation is in tatters. And if she thought she could just fade into the background, the internet had other plans. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok were on fire. Memes, reaction videos, old clips being re-examined, exposing cracks in her story from the start. It was brutal. The hashtag Jasmine fumbled was trending for hours, and even celebrities were jumping in, throwing shade and cracking jokes. One industry insider even said, "This is the worst public L I've seen since that influencer tried to cancel themselves for clout." But here's where things get really messy. Sources close to Jasmine say she's not taking this lying down. She's furious, embarrassed, and plotting her next move. Word on the street is that she's gearing up to expose Kirk and Rashida on a whole new level, dropping hidden secrets that could allegedly ruin them both. Whether she actually has dirt or if she's just desperate to stay relevant is yet to be seen. But one thing's for sure, this war isn't over. Let's not forget about the other players in this mess. Jasmine had some powerful allies who hated Kirk and were cheering for her to take him down. But now that she's lost, what happens to them? Are they still riding with her, or are they quietly backing away to save face? Because let's be honest, nobody wants to be associated with this level of humiliation. And then there's Kirk, the man who somehow came out of this mess not just legally, but in the eyes of the public too. His reputation has done a complete 180. The same people who were dragging him for cheating are now praising him as a mastermind. He's being hailed for outsmarting the system. Some are even calling this a redemption arc. Kirk Frost, the same man who was getting clowned just a few years ago, is now being seen as a genius. What a plot twist. But before we start handing out trophies, let's not forget, Kirk may have won this battle, but has he really won the war? Jasmine may be down, but she's not out. And if she's sitting on some explosive secrets, this victory lap could be short-lived. The next few weeks are going to be crucial, and you know we'll be keeping our eyes on every little update. So what do y'all think? Did Kirk play this perfectly, or is Jasmine about to pull off a comeback? And most importantly, what happens next? Stay locked in, because this tea is far from cold. We've only just begun. You all, the courtroom drama just took a major turn, and Jasmine never saw it coming. Justin Kirk Frost didn't just win in court, he absolutely demolished her. The internet is shook right now, and let's be honest, did anyone expect this? We all thought Kirk was about to take an L, right? Wrong. This man pulled off the biggest courtroom comeback since Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. But what does this mean for Jasmine? Oh baby, it's bad. We're talking life-changing, bank account crushing, PR disaster level bad. Was Kirk playing chess while Jasmine was out here playing checkers? Was this his long-awaited revenge move? And what did Jasmine do to deserve this kind of karma? Buckle up, because the tea is scalding, and we're about to spill it all. Let's dive in. Kirk Frost just dropped the ultimate Uno reverse card on Jasmine, and trust me, it's messier than we imagined. This wasn't just a legal win, it was a full-blown courtroom massacre. Jasmine's entire world got flipped, twisted, and shredded into oblivion. But how did it all go down? How did Kirk, of all people, manage to finesse the system and leave Jasmine in the dust? Let's break it down. If you've been following along, you already know Jasmine and Kirk's history is way messier than your favorite reality TV reunion. Years ago, Jasmine dropped a bombshell, claiming Kirk Frost, Rashida's supposedly devoted husband, was having an affair with her and even fathered a child. The drama exploded, the internet went wild, and love and hip-hop, Atlanta ratings skyrocketed. Kirk's reputation, destroyed. But Jasmine? She was on top. Blogs, pans, the court of public opinion. all on her side. For a while, it seemed like Kirk was finished. But fast forward to now, and plot twist. Kirk turned the tables so hard, it left Jasmine gasping for air. So what happened in that courtroom? Grab your snacks, folks, because it's juicy. Kirk rolled in with a legal dream team straight out of a Netflix thriller. Top-notch lawyers, receipts, and a strategy so cutthroat, Jasmine never had a chance. The judge barely glanced at the evidence and said, "Jasmine, it's over." While Jasmine was out here soaking up attention, Kirk was playing chess. He started poking holes in her credibility, calling out her past inconsistencies, her history of targeting wealthy men, and some questionable financial moves that had the courtroom raising eyebrows. But here's where it gets good: the financial receipts. Turns out Kirk had been paying Jasmine for years, not just child support, but for extra expenses. We're talking luxury apartments, shopping sprees, and, wait for it, alleged hush money. Kirk painted a picture of Jasmine cashing in on his name, rather than struggling as a single mother. When those bank statements hit the courtroom, game over. Now let's talk about Jasmine's reaction. Sis wasn't ready. You could see it all over her face, pure shock and panic. The moment she realized she walked right into a trap, and the internet? Oh, it was eating this up. Fans who once supported Jasmine were now dragging her, clowning her, and calling her out for trying to play Kirk, but ending up play herself. Even some of her old supporters started to rethink everything, saying, maybe Kirk wasn't the villain after all. The narrative flipped overnight. Jasmine went from the victim to the villain in record time. Now, let's not forget Rashida. Everyone was watching her reaction like a hawk, the woman who stuck by Kirk through scandal after scandal. What was she thinking? Rumor has it she had the last laugh. Sources are saying she never doubted Kirk would come out on top. In fact, some people whispered that she might have even helped him behind the scenes. If that's true, then Jasmine never stood a chance. And then the judge's ruling came down. Not just a slap on the wrist, but a financial death sentence. Jasmine walked into that courtroom thinking she might get a victory, maybe even a payday. Instead, she walked out owing Kirk. After reviewing everything, the judge ruled that Jasmine had been exploiting Kirk's financial support and ordered her to pay back a significant amount. Let that sink in. Jasmine, who tried to expose Kirk, now had to hand over cash to the very man she was trying to take down. This wasn't just a blow to her in the courtroom, it was a career-ending disaster. Before this mess, Jasmine had been building an influencer empire. TV, deals, sponsorships, brand collaborations. But after the exposure, brands are dropping her like a hot potato. One insider even said, no company wants to be associated with a liar. She's a liability now. And just like that, the sponsorship checks started to dry up. But wait, it gets worse. This whole situation started because Jasmine thought she could outsmart the system. She figured she could manipulate the public, paint herself as the victim, and force Kirk to submit. But in reality, she played herself. People might love a scandal, but they hate being lied to. Once the internet turns on you, it's game over. As Jasmine walked out of that courtroom, head down, avoiding the paparazzi, you could tell she knew it. But don't think for a second that this is the end of the story. Because just when we thought things couldn't get any worse, new reports started surfacing. Whispers about possible legal consequences for Jasmine were popping up. Turns out her financial dealings and social media antics might have crossed into fraud territory. One source claimed there's talk of an investigation into whether Jasmine lied under oath, and if that's true, well, things are looking real bad for her. Now, we're not saying it's a done deal yet, but things are definitely not looking good. Jasmine might even face jail time if the perjury investigation pans out. As for Kirk, oh, he's looking like a champion right now. While Jasmine's world is crashing down, his reputation has done a 180. The same people who once dragged him for cheating are now calling him a genius for outsmarting the system. But before we hand out trophies, let's not forget, Kirk might have won this battle, but the war isn't over yet. Jasmine may be down, but she's not out. If she really has some explosive secrets up her sleeve, this victory could be short-lived. The next few weeks are going to be crucial. We'll be keeping our eyes peeled for every new update. So what do you think? Did Kirk play this perfectly? Or is Jasmine about to make a comeback? Most importantly, where does this leave her? Stay tuned, because this tea is far from cold. We've only just begun.